things, and my wife was watching this game with me, and I said, look. Alabama, when they win, and they were not, I shouldn't even really say they were ever really down in the game, but in the fourth quarter, uh, there was a possession out there where Alabama was down for that possession. Uh, Texas went down, kicked the field goal, and now coming out of half too. So and they slugged away the third quarter. So it was not like the third quarter was just a scoring fest. It was only one scoring possession in the third quarter, and that was a field goal. Okay, that was a field goal by Texas in the third quarter. But in that point, that was the first time, actually the second time that Texas took a lead in which you may have thought at home that they had control of the outcome of the game because they were up. And even though they slugged it away with Alabama, I want to bring you guys back to the first quarter of the game. Alabama went down the field. Texas played some stout defense, made them kick a field goal. Bang. Field goals cannot beat you if you're on defense and your offense can put up points. So that's a win versus Texas. Okay. Shout out to Coach Stark over there. Okay. Now, as Texas gets the ball, Texas is aggressive on a level that I'm not sure Alabama was used to seeing. Saying we're going to go at you and having the guys that go at you, those are two different things, right? I coached the game where I used to say, hey, man, we going at these dudes. No, that means I'm blitzing 70 times a game. Or 70, in one game, we played 94 plays. I blitzed 71 times. That's going at them. I'm going at these clowns. I'm going at these dudes. Like, now, don't get that twisted. Me going at them and me calling 71 pressures, we still got blown out. My lesson learned in that is that you can dial up all you want. If you don't got the cats that can really push it, you still driving a Honda Civic and you racing against a Porsche. Period. You can soup that Civic up all you want, bro. This ain't Fast and Furious. Like, because in the reality, all the noise in that stadium is playing a major part on what you think you souped up your Honda Civic to race this Porsche or this Lambo or whatever exotic fancy car. In fact, because they're in Alabama, you bring this Honda Civic down to Alabama and get this American Muscle. We gonna call it the American Muscle Mustang, roll tide. And I'm telling you, I don't care what, all my East Coast car heads, I don't care what you put under that hood. That American Muscle will get you every time. You hear me? It will get you every time. I don't care what you do. And you can put the extra juice button in there. I'm still telling you, the long game, that American Muscle is real steel. It's American steel. It's American diesel, right? It's gonna push through. It's gonna push through. And so at the end of the day, Texas came out and they went at Alabama, and they got some cats that could have gone, and they had some cats that challenged Alabama secondary. I haven't seen Alabama secondary get challenged like this in a long time. So being that they did, they got behind that secondary in the first quarter 3 times, in the second quarter 2 times, and they dropped or didn't execute the play. And at that moment, I even tweeted or shared on my social, all right, Texas going at Bama. What I did not share is they were not making the plays that they needed to make to beat Bama, because now they put Bama on their heels immediately in the first quarter. And look, the first quarter came away with swapping field goals until Alabama scored going in, ending the first quarter, and then Stark and the Texas Longhorns brought some juice back in the second, shut them out. And so, I mean, look, this was a game that would have you suggest Texas is back. I've had a lot of coaches that I know personally that have gone through that Texas machine. I hope Texas is back. It's a blue blood program, period. Next. All right, do I need to talk about Ohio State? Ohio State taking care of business, period. I can't wait for the Michigan Ohio State. Next, because I mentioned Michigan, they took care of business in Hawaii. I love Hawaii. I was recruited by Hawaii. I did not commit to Hawaii because Hawaii is vacation land. And because of it, they do not pour into their facilities or their athletic department. And I wish Hawaii would do that, because if they would, and they brought June Jones back to try to bring the magic back. And FYI, they brought my man Timmy Chang back. I hope I'm not butchering his name. What's the Hawaii head coach name, huh? I think it's Timmy Chang. I really do. Yeah, I think it is Timmy Chang. Let's see. Yeah, Timmy Chang. I knew it was Timmy Chang. Yeah, you're right. So Jim June Jones played for Timmy Chang. I love Timmy Chang. That's what made me want to go to Hawaii out of high school or out of junior college, because they was giving that tight end a pill, baby. They was giving him a, yeah. I'm with that life. Uh, but at that time, Hawaii had a commit on offer kind of situation before you took a visit. Um, which I would have done. They just didn't pull the trigger and offer me. So moving on. But so shout out to Hawaii, man. Look, I don't want y'all touching Michigan or even acting like it's a close game. Period. We are on a journey this year. For those who don't know, I'm from Michigan. What up, yo? Okay, moving forward. All right. Clemson, look, they had their little warm up. We already know that Clemson had their warm up. They got away with it. But I do got to say this. I do got to say this. Clemson is not the Clemson of, oh, my wife, if she ever watches this, she going to be hot because I brought this up. And yeah, I don't care you beat Georgia Tech 41-10. My man, Coach Juice, Jeffy, or we should call my man, do they have him as a Juice? They should call him uh my man at G Tech, whatever. They beat my man at G Tech 41-10. Yes, they came over there and beat Furman. Furman came out there and they beat Furman 35-12. That's not an impressive victory to me. And they QB, I'm not even gonna butcher his name, but number 5, he got to get with it, bro. They better go ahead and get this Tebow philosophy going with him. I know he cut some weight, but he gotta be able to distribute that ball, or I think Clemson is just gonna be another team this year. Sorry, Ish, I love you, and sorry to all of my Clemson fans. Whatever. Uh, yeah, snuff, snuff, snuff. Choppy Fields 4-6. Y'all don't know Choppy Fields? Look him up. But he was a sleeper, the sleeper of the week, App State. And it's only fitting because I just spoke about Michigan taking care of business with a Hawaii. App State, no one is really shocked in the football world or the football community when App State go ahead and get a dub. You know why? You know why? Because App State got 3 national championships on the FCS level. That's also known as 1AA for my old heads. Okay. And on their pursuit to get their chips, they had to beat Old Faithful, UMass, right? Shout out to my man, Donnie Brown, Coach Brown up there at UMass. In that last championship run Coach Donnie Brown had at UMass before he went and made his noise in the Power 5 conferences, they went toe-to-toe with Dr. Blitz. And unfortunately, they got a W. And in that pursuit of getting that W, they popped Michigan that year. Unfortunately, that may have been the my man, shout out to my man Patrick McGee. That man been the fifth line for the head coach at that time. I ain't getting into that. Because if you're a coach and you've been fired, you know you only being hired or fired. So I'm not getting into calling for coaches' jobs. That's weak, that's whack, and that is not with the spirit. I'm just telling you. All right. So anyway, Appalachian State. Shout out to anyone who is really hyped the Appalachian State Mountains. You are different, like this team. This team went down there to College Station and spanked Texas A&M. Who may I also add was number 6 in the country. And so, and if you don't know, App State did move up from the FCS level, which is 1AA, okay, to the FBS level. And they are not disappointing anyone who is familiar with App State. Period. All right. I'm just saying, all right, Oklahoma, they did what they had to do with Kent State. I am going to say, though, Oklahoma, they had their run. The conferences are shaking and moving, whatever, bro. I'm just saying, Oklahoma, they ain't got it for real, for real. They good, and they'll always be in the conversation. But unfortunately, right now, when I look at the landscape and what they are doing, and Lincoln Riley, who had got it to the get down before the playoffs expanded, and then he got out of Dodge. Whether you think he right or wrong for it, I ain't gonna get into that either. But what I am gonna say, they are restructuring to try to get back to the old Big Bob show. Bob Stoops. Shout out Bob Stoops. All right. We talked about the upset, right? We talked about the upset of the weekend. Here's what I'm gonna also speak to. I don't know if you know, but by looking at me, you wouldn't tell that I am 20% Irish. Yeah, and it explains why I love potatoes so much and spirit beverages. Okay, but anyway, where am I going with this? No, I'm not going into a historical context on why Coach Hall don't look Irish, okay? But trust and believe that my blood DNA came back as 20% Irish, okay? Now, let me move my mic over a little bit so I can get this fully in here, okay? And that 20% Irish that I found out I had, that did not make me a fan of Notre Dame still. And I've had some good friends that coached Notre Dame, okay? Coached at Notre Dame. I've had some players that I've coached who played at Notre Dame. And so me being Irish does not give me the right to jump on that Notre Dame bandwagon. But if I did have a right by blood, I think I could. But I am not. And I am not jumping on this Notre Dame bandwagon just because Coach Freeman is the head coach, okay? And yes, if you could look at me and tell I'm a black guy, and yes, Notre Dame did, let me give Notre Dame a nod by acknowledging that they did hire a black head football coach after they did my man Todd dirty. Another story. I'm not trying to go back in the past. I'm just saying. Coach Freeman, I appreciate you holding the line for all of the coaches of color out there. I appreciate your 112 lost R&B look. You know, you look like a lost member of 112. And you out here coaching that ball. I respect all of it. Okay. But what people are not acknowledging, okay, because Coach Freeman is the big name. I want y'all to understand this now. And Coach Freeman, unfortunately, got popped. They shooting. Okay. By Marshall. Period. 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 And also, if you guys were wondering, okay, Marshall is in the Sun Belt. Marshall used to be a 1AA program, F a FCS program. Um, Marshall also, okay, shout out to Chad Pennington. Shout out to a lot of greats that played at Marshall, went into the league and got money. The most notable, Randy Changed the Game Moss. Randy Go Deep Moss. Randy Run By You Moss. Randy Moss. Randy No Championship Moss, but Randy, I went to Marshall and I got buckets and I got tutties at Marshall. Okay. I want y'all to be clear. That's the team that beat Notre Dame. So say what you want and be mad at me if you are a Notre Dame fan. I know some Notre Dame fans out there who will be really upset at me. Okay. I'm not, and I'm Irish, so don't you play that. Don't be playing that race car crap. Okay. And don't make me pull my paperwork out. You heard T.I. paperwork. Get your paperwork. I got my paperwork to prove is real. Okay. But where am I going with this? Okay. I don't know where am I going with this. Oh, they lost to Marshall, Notre Dame, the Irish, Coach Freeman. And no, I do not want y'all calling for Coach Freeman's job, though Coach Freeman is not doing well on his first outing. Ain't got nothing to do with him being black. And his show ain't got nothing to do with him and his ability to coach a team, in my opinion. Because this is year one of a Notre Dame team that has never gotten over the hump. Chip Kelly got them to 2 championship games and 2 playoff appearances, but yet did not get them over the hump. Because I do believe, though Notre Dame is structured to always be in the national conversation, they will not always have the national players to get into the dance or to win the dance. And so don't be coming from my man Freeman head just yet. And for those who may not know, who may not even be giving him any love, my man who beat him at Marshall. This is why my point is it has nothing to do with him being a Black American coach. Okay. My man Charles Huff is the head football coach at Marshall. And he is the guy who popped Notre Dame. Okay, so it's just another reminder, man. Like, you either got it or you don't got it. And if you don't got it, you got to do everything you can and everything you know how within the rules of the NCAA to go get it. And I only expect that the coaching staff at Notre Dame is working on how to go get it, whether it be in the recruiting class, whether it be in the game plan, whatever it is. I guarantee you that much. All right. So now that we got that off our plate, those were the games that I really wanted to talk about in the big boys. I also want to acknowledge one more game, okay? And this game is only because shout out to my man Coach Sean Spencer. Actually, this is the interesting game. Interesting thing about this game is a bunch of coaches on both teams that have UMass bloodline, right? And so we just go leave the names out, all right? You do all the research you want, but Kentucky did get that done. Shout out KU. Shout out to the Middle Stoops, brother. Like, them Stoops boys coaching football. That is a fact, Jack. And yeah, like Florida, I know is a new staff. But can I say they were in Gainesville? And Gainesville ain't been the same. Really, let's be honest. Gainesville has not been the same since my man Herb left, Coach Meyer. Right. And it really took them a while to get that thing going from Spurrier. You know what I mean? So it's hard to replace someone who hits the pinnacle, gets to the mountaintop, leaves, and then the next person that comes in can double down and equally do it the same, if not better, is much, much difficult. That is probably the most difficult thing to do in athletics, because the bar was set. If they hire you, it's because they think that you can meet that bar. The challenge is, how do you meet that bar without losing yourself? How do you meet that bar and block out all of the Gainesville noise, all of the Gator Chop noise? And they got rid of the Gator Chop, which I don't know how I feel about that, but that's a whole nother deal. Okay. But shout out to them Wildcats. I don't remember the Wildcats doing nothing for real, since they lost my man Tim Couch. And that ain't a good deal because he stunk in the league. But anyway, shout out to KU. Them Wildcats, they got it done. Michigan State, the Spartans. Y'all know I'm from the D, and I was committed to State when Nick Saban bounced and gave the program or the administration promoted their first black African American American coach, Bobby Williams. Miami to you. Y'all better look. All right. All right now. Miami, you act I don't know. Miami fans are like Dallas Cowboy fans. We're not gonna get in the NFL, but we go get in the NFL, but not right now. They are as brutal. They are as brutal as Cowboys fans, because the Cowboys fans, when they were nice, boy, was nothing better than Washington Cowboys. And that's the same to be true about Miami to you. When they were nice back in the day, was nothing better to see. This ain't back in the day. They've gone through some really good coaches. Uh, you know, shout out to Coach Cristobal who came back. I thought he should have stayed at Oregon, but that Miami U, boy, they got a calling on it. Got a pull. I got a stronghold on it for guys who played in that program, guys who coached in that program. Because if you were a part of that success, you know that you could do it again because you don't have to leave. You don't have to leave the area. Period. You don't. But they're leaving the area because those kids, they weren't born when Miami was making them runs. Jonathan, Vilma, Sean Taylor, Ray Lewis, all them, and them are the most recent you boys that you might remember. But the old handsome kids, the kids today weren't even born when the U was doing that. So I hope y'all get it back. I know I got a whole lot of homies who bang out in South Florida, who doing some great community work, doing some great coaching. My business partner is from South Florida. My brother is from South Florida. My offensive coordinator was from South Florida. Like all things, I bangs with Florida guys. I'm not coming at Florida. I'm just saying the U got to figure it out. All right. Oh, my man, South Carolina, the Gamecocks. I want y'all to get it right. I don't know why I don't want y'all to get it right. I don't have no ties to South Carolina outside of my wife and the Gamecocks. I really never had a real adornment or any fan for them outside of they used to, in college, we would go back and forth with who was the real USC. I don't know how to look, but I do mess with my man, Coach Beamer down there. He gonna got some juice down there. I hope he gets it right. Again, I'm never, and if I do call for some coaches' jobs, come at me, man. Do not be weak on me. Cause look, I've been fired not once, not twice, but 3 times. So and we have families and we have children and we have people to feed. Yes, this is the life that chose us, and this is the life that we say yes to, but it still gives people who just watch a game no right to just call for people's jobs. I don't want to keep going. But next, all right, Tennessee. Tennessee, I know you beat up on a Pitt. You beat up on a young Pitt, though. In Tennessee, though, it was a good win. Yes, you are 2-0, but that 34-27 does not reflect the kind of game it was, even though and we all know it was a tight game. It went into OT, but Yeah, man. Hey, look, if Pitt is your biggest problem, you got some other problems. Period. Okay. Uh Outside of that, guys, that's how we go finish the Power Five catch up with coach. And so again, don't forget, subscribe, click, share, do all of those good things. And if you feel away, say you feel away. This is a safe space. I just ask that you respect what we do. You respect the work we put in, like we want to respect the people who play this game. Okay. And this is Catch Up with Coach. The next segment will be the college recap.